Alright then. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Dark Souls 3. So, as you know or may not know, my name is Acting Rock. So, when this game released, hang on a second. Shush. Okay, now I can talk. So, when this game initially released, I started doing an LP of it completely blind. And that was pretty cool, but I found that it didn't really work out because I got to a certain area that I got really frustrated with, and I didn't really enjoy what I was able to put out and stuff like that. So, my plan is to run through this game again and treat this somewhat similar to my Bloodborne LP, where I'll be going through it section by section, looking at visual design of the area, talking about the bosses and the characters that we find within it, doing a bit of lore stuff, doing a bit of strategic stuff, and a few other things in between. I decided to do this because the final DLC is probably going to come out near-ish the time that I'll be getting up to the level to be able to accomplish that. So that'd be interesting to do blind. I also now have a little more to say about Dark Souls 3, because my initial close-up, wrap-up discussion of what I think of this game didn't exactly capture it fully when I went back to play it a little more. So, turn our music level back up here, and go like this and like that. Turn myself down here, and let's start a new game.
Yes, indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, saint of the deep, Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the giant. the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
All right then. So, immediately starting off, our intro is very reminiscent of Dark Souls 1. It's very clearly cut as here's the current status of the world. With Dark Souls 1, it was showing the ashen, or rather the gray lands and the darkness before the Age of Fire, and then the Age of Fire itself, including the destruction of the dragons. It also gave you a clear lineup of both the highest ranking officials of each of sort of the factions and your ultimate boss setup. So once again that returns, so you know that you're going to have to take down Yorm. You're going to have to take down Aldrich, and you're going to have to fight the Farron's Legion. What I also give it is that it only shows you those three. It doesn't talk about anybody else. It's just those three, and it makes reference to other stuff that's going on. So I think it's a very good intro, and it's a good step up from Dark 2's intro. So anyways, to our character creator. So this thing has been tooled up slightly from Bloodborne. You've got a little more variability and stuff like that. The one thing that I'm not big on about this game is here in the classes. My problem is that in at least Dark Souls 1, a lot of the classes were viable. No matter which one you chose, you could run it. I probably often go for the bandit with the battle axe, because you can just strength dump into that character, strength and endurance, and come out with an ultimate tank by the end of it. There's obviously your Sork and cleric as well. But even then, these aren't... they're not bad. But in other games, they're a little more powerful. Pyromancer, he's okay. But like, you look at his division of stats, 11 vigor, 12 attune, 10 endurance, 12 strength. It's not bad, but it's not great. But you look at every other character on this roster. I don't know a single person who plays assassin. Why do you need 14 attunement slots at the start of the game and 14 dexterity? That's unnecessary. Thief class is sort of your semi-hard mode. Of course, the true hard mode would be going deprived. 10 on each. Herald, I started doing a playthrough at one point. This shield is one of the best shields in the game. So already off the bat, that's pretty good. Warrior's okay. The battle axe in this game is not bad. And you're starting with a good chunk of health. I don't know a single person who actually uses the mercenary. Like, okay stats, but way too much dexterity for my taste. My key problem here is that the class that you want is always the knight. The knight starts with some of the, like, the knight set is the best armor in the game. Like, for its pound for pound, it's the best set of gear in the game. The longsword has really good damage, really good moveset, and the knight shield has, it starts at 100 block with, I think, decent amounts of high stability and decent amount of resistance. So we're going to grab the knight. Now this is another thing. Most of these aren't that great. Like Young White Branch, you're going to get them in the game anywhere. Red Eye Orb, you'll pick them up. You get 5 for free when you encounter the invasion guy. Rusted gold coin, not bad, but again, you're going to find them in the environment and they're going to be useful. Sovereign Soul is just, I think it's maybe a 1k soul packet or something like that. It's okay. Black Firebomb, you're going to get them in the environment. You'll be able to buy them by, I think, hour 4 or so. Hidden Blessing, you can buy them at some point. Honestly, they're useless once you either infuse a shield with a simple or do something like that. And Divine, yeah, it's okay. The only two that are really kind of useful are the Life Ring or the Fire Gem. And the Life Ring, I would say, is useful for starting players who really want that extra amount of health and need a little bit of backup there. But I'm going to go with the Fire Gem because, as I'll probably get to in a little bit, the Fire Gem really helps with the early game. Now, once again, we're back to a similar-ish Dark Souls 1 where each of your races have script to them, such as Astora's, Dragon Academy, and stuff like that. I didn't even know there was from one guy from Irithil. Go like that. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time here. Phase detail. Good. Yep. It's good. A bit of this. A bit of that. A little bit of that. A little more of this. And some of this. And boom. Now that's a character. Yeah. That's a character right there, ladies and gentlemen. Alright. Now, let's give it a... Oh, yeah. What's a nice haircut for this type of character? Ah, yes. Exactly what I need. And, of course, can't go wrong doing some of this. And then, how do we get to my RGB sliders? Here we go. Do that. Like that. Excellent. That's what I like to see. Where's my eye colors? Yes. Yes. Very good. Very good. What do we call this character? I want to call them Knife Edge Terry. 'Cause what else could describe that nasal structure right there? Alright, I think we're ready to go. Night Class, Fire Gem. Let's do this. Alright. Excellent. So, we have our knight here. Got our long sword. Nice set of movements. Good overheads. Like that. Let's take off that helmet, shall we? Yeah! Yeah! Now that's a character. So, now the new addition to Dark Souls 3. The holding L2 to do stance attacks. Such as this sweeping guard break. And this tracking thrust. I think I find them quite useful. I think it's a good addition to the combat. Nice way to integrate extra moves into a certain moveset. And it's a nice way to add stuff that a weapon didn't have before, such as if we ever get to the halberd, there is a addition to the halberd, which is a charge stance, which is essentially taken over from the lance. Yeah. So already I'm insta-killing all of these guys. So let's look at our shield. Yeah, 100 physical, 51 magic, 46 fire, 34 lightning, 44 dark, and 48 stability. So already a pretty powerful weapon. So let's take on our crystal beast here. Who is very much just Grunbeld from Berserk. Like, more than ever, this game apes lots and lots of stuff from Berserk. Which I have no problem with because I enjoy Berserk. But at the same time, it's nice when you come up with your own stuff, I would say. Go for the critical. charge, get our Titanite scale. So let's read about that, shall we? Because I actually haven't looked at this. Titanite altered by a soul. Reinforces soul transposed weapons to +4, i.e. boss weapons. Weapons forged by soul transposition can only be reinforced by titanite of the same kind. In rare cases, crystal lizards devour souls, growing to monstrous proportions and leaving these great scales. A fire. A gem infused with titanite, found in rare cases inside demons. Used in infusion to create fire weapons. Fire weapons inflict fire damage, but lose scaling effects. So, part of the reason it's good to get the fire gem is because the longsword only scales D&D, so already its scaling isn't that great. So, fire infusing it isn't much of a drawback, because you'll be still getting a decent amount of base damage, and you'll be getting the additional fire effects. Now, I must say, as an opening area, this visual is really good, because it's evident, hey, you're gonna go over there, you're headed towards there, and you're going to have to go over there. So it's a very good way of showcasing, hey, where is everything? And, like, how is this world forged together? Now, it's not quite the same as Dark Souls 1's true interconnected world, where you can see all the parts of the game if you stand in one spot, almost. Fire bombs. Got that fading soul. All right. Now, what I enjoy about these hollows is they seem to have short swords on them, which I don't think... they might be available in this game. I can't remember, honestly. Okay, so we're gonna go like this. Two-hand. We're gonna awaken the first boss. As he's getting up, it's good practice to wail on him, reduce your full stamina bar, get one extra hard. And here's form 2. This is why I kind of like this boss, because A, the musical piece is good, the arena is good, the design of Form 1 is not bad, the design of Form 2 is really interesting, because it's not something that's ever appeared in any other Souls game. So already, very good. There we go. restored to full form. Now, this system is something that I really like because it eliminates the well, I don't know. Honestly, I think Dark Souls 2 did it best with if you lose your humanity, you slowly tick down in life. So that means that you could lose the fight, but then go back in and fix your problem without continuously making your life even less and less until it finally got to half. I'm not big on the demon's way of doing things where you fail and your life is in half and you always have to sacrifice one ring slot to the Kling ring. I think Dark Souls 2 did it best in that regard. 3 does it in a decent form where in unembered form you're working with, I think it's about 70% of your normal life. In embered form you get your full set of life. And by the time when you're going to be facing off of full bosses where you're going to need your entire life bar to take them down, you already have enough souls to be able to, or not souls, embers, to be able to continuously burn embers in a boss fight. So, not bad. Nice visual effect of having the embers coming off your body as you walk around and stuff like that. So, good touch. Got this ember over here. And this is an interesting piece. Because this is... It's not exactly Artorias' greatsword. Because I believe it lacks a certain embroidery on... I don't know if it's the hilt or the cross. But it is a very similar sword. So I have to wonder, why is it here? On this grave, on the edge of, well, nothingness, as it were. And why is it that size? Because the sword that we see leaning against a grave in Dark 1 is humongous. And it's used by Sif in his teeth. Alright, so what I will do is let's go face our first true challenge, which is this guy. And that's why you have to kneel to the master. It's the fact that he can parry your ass in an instant.